The uncomfortable truth is that most people don't break their fast because they're hungry. They break it because they start negotiating with themselves. A splash of milk. One tiny snack. A spoonful of honey. A healthy energy drink. Each choice looks harmless. But together, they reveal something deeper. Your body may be fasting. Your mind is still searching for permission to escape discomfort. And that is why fasting can become more than a nutrition strategy. It becomes a test of self-command. Before we get into the 6 best options, one truth needs to be clear. Under a strict fast, actual food breaks the fast. Calories provide energy. Protein, carbohydrates, and fat all count. So, when people search for foods that won't break a fast, what they usually need are things that help them manage hunger, hydration, energy, and cravings without meaningfully ending a zero-calorie fasting period. That distinction matters. Because discipline becomes easier when the rules are clear. No confusion. No loopholes. No arguing with yourself at 11 in the morning. The first option is almost too obvious. But it is also the one most people underestimate. Number 1. Plain water. Water does not contain calories. It does not turn your fast into a feeding window. And sometimes, what feels like unbearable hunger is intensified by something much simpler. You are thirsty. Picture this. You wake up, check your phone, rush into work, drink coffee, handle problems, and suddenly feel empty by mid-morning. Your first thought is food. But after 2 large glasses of water, the urgency becomes quieter. The hunger may still exist, but it no longer controls the room. That difference is powerful. Fasting does not require you to pretend discomfort isn't there. It teaches you to respond instead of react. Keep water nearby. Not hidden in another room. Not waiting until you feel exhausted. Make hydration automatic. Because the disciplined man does not depend on motivation to remember what matters. He designs his environment so the correct action becomes easier. And if plain water feels too boring, the second option may help. Number 2. Unflavored sparkling water. The bubbles create a stronger sensation than still water. For some people, that makes the stomach feel temporarily fuller. It also gives you the experience of drinking something more interesting without adding sugar, cream, juice, or calories. But read the label. Sparkling does not automatically mean fasting friendly. Some products contain sugar. Some contain juice. Some contain sweeteners or added ingredients you may prefer to avoid. The front of the bottle is marketing. The back is information. That lesson extends far beyond fasting. Weak decisions are often made from appearance. Strong decisions are made after inspection. A drink can look clean, healthy, modern, and disciplined while quietly containing exactly what you were trying to avoid. So, choose plain carbonated water or unflavored mineral water. Nothing added. Nothing hidden. Nothing to debate. The goal is not to create the most entertaining fast possible. The goal is to remove unnecessary friction while staying honest about what you are doing. Because once you begin lying to yourself in small ways, discipline becomes fragile. Now comes the option many people rely on for alertness. Number 3. Black coffee. No sugar. No milk. No flavored creamer. No syrup hiding beneath the word coffee. Just coffee and water. Black coffee is generally treated as compatible with a calorie-free intermittent fast, and medical guidance commonly lists it alongside water and unsweetened tea during fasting periods. But here is where self-awareness matters. Coffee can support your fast. It can also become another dependency. 1 cup helps you focus. Then 1 cup becomes 3. Then you feel anxious, restless, or unable to work without constant stimulation. That is not mastery. That is simply replacing one craving with another. Use coffee as a tool. Do not allow it to become the person holding the tool. There is also a psychological advantage to drinking it black. You stop expecting everything to taste like dessert. You begin separating pleasure from necessity. Not every drink needs sweetness. Not every difficult hour needs comfort. Not every craving deserves an answer. That sounds small. But character is built through small moments repeated until they become identity. A man who can calmly drink something simple, continue his work, and let a craving pass is practicing more than fasting. He is practicing emotional control. Still, coffee is not ideal for everyone. Some people become jittery. Some experience stomach irritation. Some find that caffeine makes hunger feel stronger later. That leads to the 4th option. Number 4. Unsweetened green tea. Green tea gives you warmth, flavor, and a smaller caffeine lift than a typical cup of coffee. For many people, the ritual itself becomes useful. You boil the water. You wait. You hold the warm cup. The nervous system begins to settle. And suddenly, you are no longer fighting the fast. You are simply moving through it. This is an important shift. People often fail because they turn every challenge into a war. They stare at the clock. They count every minute. They imagine food. They tell themselves they are suffering. Then they wonder why the fast feels impossible. Attention magnifies sensation. The more dramatically you watch your hunger, the more powerful it feels. Green tea gives the mind another experience to focus on. But keep it unsweetened. No honey. No sugar. No milk. Honey may be natural, but natural sugar is still sugar. Your body does not ignore calories because the packaging looks wholesome. A disciplined lifestyle is not built on attractive excuses. It is built on accurate decisions. Number 5. Plain herbal tea. This is especially useful for people who want something warm without more caffeine. Peppermint tea. Chamomile tea. Ginger tea. Or another simple herbal infusion without sugar, honey, milk, dried fruit pieces, or calorie-containing additives. Again, check the ingredients. The word herbal does not guarantee that every tea blend is appropriate for a strict fast. Some blends contain sweetened flavorings. Others include pieces of fruit or ingredients that may contribute small amounts of energy. The safest approach is simplicity. 1 herb. Hot water. Nothing else. And there is a deeper reason warm tea helps. Fasting creates empty space. The snack you normally eat during stress is gone. The drink you normally order when bored is gone. The late-night habit you use to reward yourself is gone. Then the emotion underneath the habit becomes visible. You realize you were not always eating from hunger. Sometimes you were eating because you felt restless. Sometimes because work became difficult. Sometimes because you felt lonely. Sometimes because you believed every productive day deserved a reward. Fasting exposes those patterns. It shows you the exact moment your mind reaches for comfort. And once you can see a pattern, You can choose whether to obey it. That is where fasting becomes psychological training. Not punishment. Not starvation. Observation. You notice the urge. You do not panic. You allow it to rise. Then you watch it lose intensity. This is the same emotional skill required during conflict, rejection, pressure, and temptation. The feeling appears. But the feeling does not become your commander. Now for the sixth option. The one that becomes especially important during longer or more demanding fasts. Number 6. Zero-calorie, sugar-free electrolytes. Electrolytes are minerals involved in important bodily functions, including fluid balance, nerve activity, and muscle function. But not every electrolyte product is fasting-friendly. Many sports drinks contain sugar and calories. Some powders are designed for workouts, not fasting. Some have enough carbohydrate to clearly end a strict zero-calorie fast. Look for a product containing no sugar and no meaningful calories. And do not assume that more is better. Electrolyte needs vary based on fasting duration, climate, activity, health conditions, medications, and individual circumstances. Someone sitting in an air-conditioned office is not facing the same situation as someone training hard in extreme heat. This is where maturity replaces ego. The goal is not to prove how much discomfort you can tolerate. The goal is to practice discipline intelligently. If you feel faint, confused, severely weak, or genuinely unwell, that is not a cinematic moment where you demonstrate toughness. That is information. Listen to it. Fasting is not appropriate for everyone, and people who are pregnant, breastfeeding, underage, living with certain medical conditions, taking glucose-lowering medication, or dealing with an eating disorder should seek professional medical guidance before attempting it. Real self-control includes knowing when not to force something. But there is one final trap. You can consume every fasting-friendly drink on this list and still miss the entire point. Because fasting is not a competition to see how many products you can use without technically eating. It is the ability to remain steady when comfort is temporarily unavailable. Water can help. Coffee can help. Tea can help. Electrolytes may help in the right circumstances. But none of them can make the decision for you. Eventually, the craving arrives. You smell food. Someone eats beside you. Your mind starts producing arguments. You've already fasted long enough. One bite won't matter. You can restart tomorrow. That moment is the real workout. Not because eating is wrong, but because you made a decision before the discomfort arrived. And now you are discovering whether your word still means something when following it becomes inconvenient. That is why clear fasting rules matter. Choose your fasting window in advance. Know what you will drink. Know when you will eat again. Then stop renegotiating. A man who constantly changes his rules according to his mood cannot fully trust himself. But each time you keep one reasonable promise, something begins to change. Your confidence becomes quieter, more stable, less dependent on applause. You no longer need to announce that you are disciplined. You have evidence. And perhaps that is the deepest benefit of the fast. Hunger eventually ends when you eat. But the self-respect earned by not abandoning your decision at the first sign of discomfort can remain long after the meal is over.